opening weekend in the SEC is upon us, and we move on to game number 2 of a 3-game set between Vanderbilt and South Carolina. Happy Saturday, everybody. It's the 16th ranked Gamecocks against number 2 Vanderbilt Commodores, trying to go to 2-0 in conference play with the win today. There was a thriller at Hawkins Field last night. You would expect that when Kamar Rocker takes him out, and as he does every Friday night, he is nearly unstoppable. Both pitchers were fantastic. If you like great pitching and defense, it was the game for you. Cooper Davis in the 7th drove in the game winner. The Vandy bullpen was able to nail it down. It was a game that featured 30 strikeouts between the two sides, and as you would expect, pitching dominant. Thomas Farr was fantastic for South Carolina, just didn't get enough. He struck out 9 and took the loss. And Rocker was Rocker, 14 Ks and just 2 walks to go to 5-0 on this young season. Welcome, everybody. Tom Hart alongside Kyle Peterson. We move on to game number 2 of this series. KP, South Carolina got off to a magnificent start this year. They were 11-0. Then they went to Texas. Now they haven't won a game since, and they're trying to get right against one of the best pitchers in baseball, Jack Leiter.
Yeah, in a place that's hard to get right really any year. You roll into Nashville, you know you're going to have your hands full, and maybe not the ideal time that South Carolina would like to come in, but now you're going to try to break a losing streak against one of the best arms in the entire country. Here's the thing with Jack Leiter, and he's household name now just because of how good he has been. He's never started an SEC game. This is his first SEC start, and for all the accolades, and they're very well deserved, it's still only his 8th career start. You're going to see top of the line stuff. I mean, the top 5 picks of the Major League Draft this year. It's a mid-90s fastball. It is a swing and miss slider, a little bit different looking than Kumar's slider, but still he uses it the exact same way. He's added a cutter this year, working on more of a changeup, but incredibly advanced for a kid that is just in his 2nd year of college baseball.
Let's take a look at the batting order for this South Carolina team that has now lost 5 in a row after that magnificent start under Mark Kingston. They have the nation's leader in home runs, Wes Clark. He's hit 10 of them. Those were early blasts this season. He's also leading the league in walks, and Vandy put him on twice last night.
Yeah, Clark is just your prototypical power hitter. 10 home runs, that leads the country. His on-base percentage is above 500. And a lot more selective than maybe you would think for high-end power guys. He's a hit-first guy for the South Carolina team. They're going to need a little thump today because you may need to run into one against Leiter.
Braylon Wimmer will lead things off for the Gamecocks. First pitch, 95 from Leiter. Wimmer is sophomore from Yukon, Oklahoma. Dad was a great player at Wichita State, led the nation in hits one year. And there's a breaking ball, 1-1. Beautiful day, sunny and 55 degrees. With a very slight wind blowing in from center. Fouled off. We'll talk a lot about Leiter and Rocker and this Vandy pitching staff, but as far as South Carolina is concerned, Braylon Wimmer might be a guy that we're talking about for years to come.
Yeah, it's a high-end athletic talent. I mean, he can really run. He's a 6'4", 6'5", 60 guy. The power has been there. Long and lean, and you would think as he continues to grow, the power will continue to get there. But 4 home runs already this year for Wimmer. Hasn't stolen a lot of bases. That's the pure speed thing. Hasn't necessarily gone to the ability to steal bags yet, but he can really run.
Laid off the breaking ball, 3-2. There's a lot of things I like about Jack Leiter. Among them, pace.
Oh, he gets it and goes now. And there's so many times, even if a guy steps out, he won't move. He'll stand right on the rubber and just wait for him to get back in.
Just low with the fastball. Daniel Cricks is the home plate umpire. And the leadoff man aboard for South Carolina. Here's how Vandy lines them up. Vanderbilt leading the SEC in double plays turned this season. They've got speed in center and Enrique Bradfield. Carter Young, just a freshman at short. Next to Tate Colwick up the middle. Now Brady Allen at the plate, 0 for 4 last night with 3 strikeouts. Last year led the SEC in hitting in a shortened season, obviously, with a .327 average over 16 games. Junior from Lakeland, Florida, out of George Jenkins High School. 39th round pick of the Yankees in 2018 coming out of high school. I talked about Leiter's pace, then he stepped off the rubber, and now he's rubbing up the baseball. So he's got early Tom Hart luck going for him. That's why he's rubbing it up.
Than the Tom Hart luck, that's for sure. For Leiter, too, I mean, if you're going to nitpick just over the first 8 starts and really what we've seen this year, efficiency is one thing just from a pitch usage standpoint that he'll continue to grow into. 11 walks on the season. The pitch count can get elevated early. Longest he's gone in and out in this year, 5 innings. That time pumps a 94-mile-an-hour fastball in there.
It's a 3-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio. He hasn't allowed an extra base hit all season. 7 hits allowed, all 7 singles. And leading the SEC with 2 runs allowed this year. One, two. Elevated the fastball for his first strikeout.
He's had the ability to do this since he showed up on campus. It is a true 4-seam fastball that holds its carry all the way through. That his best fastball velocity-wise at 96, intentionally trying to go up the ladder against Allen. And you'll see him doing consistently through an at-bat. He may start top of the zone, and if he gets a swing and miss or if he gets a called strike, you'll see that fastball continue to elevate throughout the at-bat.
First lefty of the game, and Josiah Seitler. Lefty's just 2 for 29 against Leiter this year. Starts him with the fastball, 0-1. Seitler out of Gaston, South Carolina. He's a junior from Swansea High School. Had a pretty good series against Texas. Went 4 for 10 last weekend in Austin and drew 3 walks. 12th round pick of the Reds, coming out of Swansea High School in 2018. Back to the bag is Wimmer, who has just 1 stolen base on the year.
That is one main difference between these two teams. South Carolina 10 of 15 this year in stolen bases. Vanderbilt's 23 of 25. Vandy has pressed the issue a lot more on the base pass.
Fastball low, 1-1. Leiter consensus preseason All-American by the 5 major publications. Second team all-conference, and that's because his teammate Rocker is in front of him. We're talking to the South Carolina staff about him, and I think you'll hear this throughout the SEC. They have said, well, I'm just glad he's draft eligible. He'll turn 21 prior to the draft.
Yeah, I think the only ones that would disagree with that are those that are on the coaching staff at Vanderbilt. Everybody else is just fine with Jack Leiter getting drafted this year.
Seitler was 1 for 4 last night in the first game of the series. It was a 3-2 Vanderbilt win. Had a double in the game, and he drives this one into left center field. Enrique Bradfield has plus speed, and he gets there in time. 2 down.
We talk about the speed of Enrique Bradfield. He can absolutely fly, and this time, too, I love the route. I mean, maybe starts a little bit shallow and then turns it off. It's one there, too, where if you're going into the gap, it's an advantage to be left-handed. It's just easier for him to reach up and make that play. Break a little shallow to start. Pure speed can make up for it. This is a kid they are really excited about that has shown a real advanced ability on the base pass already to steal bases. Was thrown out yesterday for the first time all year. That time, good play in center.
Preseason All-America Wes Clark has lived up to the early billing, leading the nation in home runs. An OPS of nearly 1,500. Facing Leiter, who hasn't allowed an extra base hit all year. In a short season last year, Clark tied for 3rd in the country and led the SEC with 8 home runs. He drove in 22 to lead the SEC. 40th round pick of the Brewers in 2018. The 0-2. Challenged him with the fastball, got him with 97. What a start for Jack Leiter after the leadoff walk. He strikes out the nation's home run leader with a 97-mile-an-hour fastball. We head to the home half of the first in Nashville's West End. No scores. We head to the home half of the first inning. Game 2 of the series between South Carolina and Vanderbilt. Brannon Jordan gets the ball for the Gamecocks, 1-1 through 4 starts with an ERA of 3.50. Last time out against the Longhorns, 2 runs on a couple of home runs in a 3-0 loss last weekend in Austin. A 1-2-2 whip for the senior from Collinsville, Oklahoma, who played JUCO ball in Arkansas City, Kansas at Cali County Community College.
It's been kind of an interesting season for Jordan so far because he hasn't given up a lot of hits, but the hits that he has given up, they've been extra base. He's given up 9 hits the entire season. 5 of those are doubles, 3 are home runs. So if he can stay away from the big swing and really the control issues this year, the stuff has been plenty good for Jordan.
Vandy's offense has been plenty good this year. Second in the SEC with a .313 average. They score, I think, push across almost 8.5 runs a game. KP mentioned the ability to run with 23 bags. Most of those coming from Bradfield in the 8-hole. Here's how South Carolina lines them up. Tied for 5th in the league in fielding percentage. 14 errors, also tied for 5th. Cooper Davis to lead things off. He carries a 4-game hit streak with him to the plate. And 429 in the leadoff spot for Tim Corbin's squad this year. You asked Tim Corbin how Cooper Davis has grown over the years, senior from Mississauga, Ontario, and he said, well, he hasn't grown. He's still 5'10". And it goes hand in hand because Cooper hit a home run last week, or midweek, I should say, and Corb said, well, yeah, on St. Patrick's Day, the little leprechaun gets one up into the wind, and I think she's a home run hitter. He laces this one foul.
Yeah, he was ready to fire back on that one right away. Well, he hasn't. He's still 5'9". Thanks, Corbin. that is high level analysis right there.
Tim Corbin loves this guy. His communication works well in the environment, makes it fun. Beautiful hook from Jordan, and Cooper Davis down looking.
Pretty good one to start right there. I mean, we saw the fastball, and Jordan was low to mid 90s in the fall, and the velocity hasn't necessarily carried over. He's been more 90 to 92, but that one right there will stand you straight up. A few fastballs early. Cooper Davis was out in front of a fastball. That time drops a nice breakable in there for his first strikeout.
So here's Carter Young looking for his first hit of the weekend. Got a 16-game on-base streak going. They went to the Pacific Northwest to get him out of Selma, Washington. Right smack dab in the middle of the state. We count 2-0 now to Young.
Mike Rooney was down at Oklahoma State last weekend to watch Vandy, Oklahoma State, and he was pretty fired up to watch this kid. Carter Young's got a chance to be special. They love the hands. Defensively, he's very advanced for his age, but the power's starting to come too. 4 home runs for Young this year. He stole 3 bags.
Top 10 in the league in slugging percentage. 3-1 now. 2018 Gatorade Washington Player of the Year, was on Team USA's 18 and under national team. They won gold in Thunder Bay, Ontario. Here's the 3-1. Into the left field corner. Seitler in front of the big wall, 2 down. Base is empty for Spencer Jones, getting an opportunity to start tonight. Just his 4th game of the year for the sophomore from Encinitas, California. Encinitas, excuse me. 6'7", 225. Baseball America has him as a second-team preseason All-American. Still limited DH duties post-injury. When's the last time you saw a 6'7" college hitter?
6'7" hitter. I was going to go Richie Sexson on you, but then you said college. I don't know. Dave Winfield?
Yeah, I was going to say it's been a while. Big cut. I mean, you go to Fresno State a few years ago. A kid by the name of Judge won the college home run derby. He was
him
pretty big.
See me stay with the fastball right here and try to elevate it. You show me that last swing. Yep. It's exactly where you want to go. Just the barrel lagging a little bit right there. Good job of taking advantage of it. Elevating the fastball. 2 strikeouts in the first inning for Jordan.
He matches a 0 put up by Leiter. Could be a great pitcher's duel on this sunny Saturday. No score. Second, we got a Lombardi and Outland Trophy Award winner in the stands. Tracy Rocker. Kumar's dad was a consensus All-America at Auburn, now coaching D-line with the Eagles. And his son had a magnificent game last night. It's Jack Leiter on the mound today for Vanderbilt. It was interesting. I went back and watched Pitching Ninjas podcast with Kumar.
Yeah.
And he was talking about his dad's intensity. He said, and I can't remember if this was in reference to a specific game or just overall, but his dad got fired up and he said, "Man, why don't you get ticked off? Why do you get ticked off?" Because, Dad, I can't get ticked off. I can't hit ticked off. Like that doesn't work for baseball. Here's David Mendham, who was 1 for 3 last night.
He did show a little emotion last night after that last strikeout.
Yes.
It sounded like talked his way back out there for the 8th inning. They were thinking about bringing Kumar out, left him in the 8th. 14th and final strikeout of the night. 115 pitches later, he was fired up at the end, and that's always fun to see.
Mendham fouls one back, and then he was all smiles stretching with the team in the 9th. Smoothie kind of day. 14 Ks, 2 walks. Just another day at the office, huh? This duo, Rocker and Leiter, has a chance to make draft history, or at least put themselves with some historic teammate draft back-to-backs.
Never had anybody go 1-2 in the draft. These guys theoretically can do it. 1-3 has happened. Garrett Cole, Trevor Bauer a few years ago. Multiple first-rounders has happened, but never has anybody gone 1-2 from the same school.
94 fouled off by Mendham.
Small thing, but I like the 2-1 changeup right there from Leiter. And it's probably his 3rd, 4th best pitch, but he's gained a lot of confidence. And if you can throw that in a down count, 2-1, and steal a strike, get right back in it, that's a nice piece to add to this arsenal.
95 at the knees. He missed with that low fastball against Wimmer. Now he's got his 3rd strikeout of the day on it.
Pretty good right here, and a good job by C.J. Rodriguez, too, to go get this one. He brings it up a little bit more, but that's the one as a catcher. When you're trying to steal a strike at the bottom part of the zone, you got to go get it. That one he went and got, maybe brought up a little bit more, but 3rd strikeout of the game for Leiter, first looking.
There's Andrew Eister, 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts last night and a first pitch breaking ball. I want to get back to Leiter's changeup in a moment, but I was thinking about some of these strikeout totals for South Carolina hitters who, a reminder, South Carolina got off to an 11-0 start. This is a good lineup. You face Rocker night 1, and then you come back and you face Leiter. It can hurt your feelings back-to-back days. Even good hitters.
Yeah, there's going to be hurt feelings for 10 straight weeks in this league. There's no way around it. I mean, you're facing 2 of the best pitchers in college baseball. We talked draft earlier. So in 11, Garrett Cole goes first, Bauer goes 3rd, Umber and Neiman 3-4 for Rice. Then back to Chris Benson and Billy Koch with a 100-mile-an-hour fastball in 96. Bob Horner straight to the big leagues in 78 from Arizona State.
Breaking ball missed away, 2-2. So how do you handle it if you're a hitting coach?
Well,
tip 94, strikeout number 4.
I mean, we asked Mark Kingston that this week, the head coach of South Carolina, and his response was, you know what, I think we kind of got to see what they look like. Can you wait them out? Can you get the pitch count up? Or if you're filling up the zone, which Kumar did last night, then maybe you got to be a little bit more aggressive. I think you got to run into one against these guys. I mean, the chance that you think you're going to get 3 or 4 hits in an inning just doesn't happen. The stuff is good. Nobody has run into one this year against Jack Leiter. He hasn't given up an extra base hit.
Here's Brennan Malone hitting 182. Didn't get a hit last week in Austin. Woodstock, Georgia native. Broke all of Nick Markakis' high school records at Woodstock High School. Shift is on, playing him to pull on the infield, and he goes right through 94. How often is a scouting report flexible within the course of the game? Meaning, we're going to see what Leiter looks like and then discuss it throughout the game versus here's our approach this day.
I think very often, because the reality is you can come in thinking one thing and he could show you something totally different. You can come in and say, listen, the slider's the second best pitch, and go through the lineup and he throws 8 changeups, and you start looking at it a little bit differently. I think the biggest thing approach against Jack Leiter is the control going to be there? So do you try to wait him out long enough and see if you can elevate that pitch count? That goes right out the door when he starts throwing strike 1. He punches out the side in the second, that time 97, and climbs the ladder on the fastball. Scouting report's dead on. The stuff is off the charts, and Leiter, after a leadoff walk, has been locked in so far.
Hey, we're going to give you a chance to plan ahead. Next Sunday, here's what our doubleheader looks like. Florida and South Carolina in the finale of their 3-game series at noon Eastern. And then number 1 Arkansas and Mississippi State. As of now, that's a top 3 matchup. Well, that's because each of the top 5 teams in the poll are from the SEC. Also finale of that one. SEC Network next Sunday, always available on the ESPN app. Here's Parker Nolan, Vandy's first baseman, scoreless game, bottom of the second. We've documented what Jack Leiter can do, what Kamar Warakar did last night. As you look at the numbers for Nolan from Farragut High School, how does it affect the other pitchers? Like, what is Brannon Jordan thinking coming into this game and then seeing what Leiter has done so far?
Well, you know, it's probably not going to be 10-9. I mean, it's one of those to where it's just there's times when you show up and you throw really any game against Vanderbilt, but especially the first 2, you got to be sharp from the jump. And you know that Jordan is aware of this. And, last night Thomas Farr was really good for South Carolina last night. Kumar was just a little bit better. And that's just the way it is. If you're going to beat him Friday or Saturday, you're usually going to have to either bloop and blast it and beat him 2-1 or figure out some way to scratch a few across. I also think offensively, and we'll see how South Carolina approaches it, they don't bunt. I mean, just historically, they're not a team that really bunts a whole lot. You got to figure out some way to get guys active and on base.
Parker Nolan didn't have a hit last night, reaches on a leadoff walk from Brannon Jordan, and there's one on. C.J. Rodriguez from Newport Beach, California. 1 for 4 with a double last night. Very low K rate. Last year, 52 plate appearances, only struck out 3 times. Nothing in 1. Good looking curveball early on from Brannon Jordan. Four starts for the Gamecocks last year for Jordan was 2-0 with a 1.71. Top 10 in the league in strikeouts. Goes back to the breaking ball. Strike 3 called on C.J. Rodriguez.
Good work there by Colin Burgess, the catcher, who, from a catch and throw standpoint, has been outstanding. But he lets this one travel as long as he possibly can. Talked about Bradfield and the speed that he has. Burgess threw him out last night for the first time all year, and Burgess has thrown out 8 of 15 guys that have tried to steal this year. So it makes you think about it a little bit differently if you're Vanderbilt.
Ooh, lost his footing. Nolan unable to advance. And the first pitch to Kate Kolwick.
I think guys are, you see turf mounds more often now. I mean, you never used to see them before. But if you haven't thrown on one, it's still a different feel. And that time it looked like that front spike just didn't catch for Jordan.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but these guys throw a lot on turf mounds over the summer circuits.
Yeah, I mean, there's some out there, but it's still rare to go to an all-turf field that has the turf mound like Vandy was. And I think they're about the first one that I can remember that did it.
Yeah. There are a couple MAC schools, if I'm not mistaken, that went to it early, and Vandy was right behind them. Not sure that Jordan had one of those junior college ranks. This ball hit high and deep to left field. Back is Seitler, and it's gone. 2-run shot for Kolwick. Fourth home run of the season, and Vanderbilt out to a 2-0 lead.
Watching some film of Kolwick before this game, and he kind of reminds me of Mark Loretta, and that's dating myself a little bit. But Loretta was sure-handed middle infield, didn't do a lot at the plate as far as movement, but yet still had the ability to put a charge into it. Kolwick does the exact same thing right here. That's the one he can really handle. Is the fastball down in the zone? He can elevate that one. Takes it over the top of the bleachers in left center for his 4th home run of the year.
Now a 9-game hit streak for Kolwick. And with the bases clear, Isaiah Thomas steps in. .23 strikeouts on the season for Thomas, 5th most in the league. Breaking ball popped up. It'll find the seats. Junior from Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. Rockies use their 39th round pick on him coming out of high school. Got to campus, and last year started with a 9-game hit streak over the abbreviated 16-game season. Hit him.
I'm surprised that they gave him first base right there. And I'd be surprised if Mark Kingston doesn't come out and say something right there. I mean, the verbiage now is that there has to be some effort to move out of the way. Clearly there wasn't an effort. I don't know that he necessarily moved into it, but definitely wasn't trying to get out of the way. I think there's a legitimate argument right here.
Okay, so this is a focus in college baseball year after year. Walk me through your interpretation of how it's supposed to be called and if that differs from how it is called.
Well, my interpretation of how it's supposed to be called is there an effort to get out of the way? Now, you can't, you go back 10, 15 years ago when everybody was getting hit. They were leaning into it, and rarely would it be called. So I think the intent now, which most of the rule, I think the intent is right, is just not to allow guys to lean into it, but there still has to be some effort to get out of the way. I don't think there was much of an effort to get out of the way right there from Thomas. I mean, when you've got the elbow pad up, it's not going to hurt. Just stand there, take it, and walk down to first.
It's been simplified over the years when we talk to rules officials to think of it this way. Did the ball hit you, or did you hit the ball?
Okay. And now, I guess if that's the
gray
simplification.
Yeah, the gray area is in a play like that where he did not hit the ball. He did not extend into it. But as you pointed out, he also made no effort to get out of the way. So here's Enrique Bradfield.
Away. That'll change the approach a little bit, I would tell you that.
Yeah. I mean, you'd still have a guy like Mike Rooney leaning into things.
Fair.
Bradfield, a Florida native, coming in with a .333 average and second in the nation in stolen bases. 13 of 14 after being caught last night. What a drag. Pushes it out to second. Underhand flip to get him. Well, we don't see back control like that very often these days.
No, we don't. It's almost like a slapper in softball, to where you're going out of the box right away. I mean, he kind of squares to bunt and then does drag. In that case, you're just trying to get it past the pitcher. For Bradfield, he actually put it exactly where he wanted to. It was just defended really well by Wimmer. It looked to be pinched in a little bit, and then saw that bat start to get out in front. You advance the base runner, and still, even with that, bunted that hard, they only threw him out by a step. He can fly.
What a weapon for Vanderbilt. Here's Jason Gonzalez. They've got a .356 average in the 9-hole with 2 home runs. Gonzalez hitting .385 against righties this year. That one got away from the catcher Burgess, and Isaiah Thomas takes third.
See a lot more guys, a lot more catchers right now that are blocking going down to one knee. And it's quicker to get down there, but the issue is sometimes is that top half of the body. You go down a block with one knee, a lot of times the top half of the body doesn't square up to the pitcher's mound. That's exactly what happened right there. Burgess goes down to the one knee, but then his chest is aimed more towards third base. So the minute that it hits that chest protector, that's where it's going to go.
Curveball in for a strike. Gonzalez inserted into the lineup almost immediately when he got to campus. Started 39 games for Tim Corbin in 2018. Part of the national championship team 2 years ago. Took a year off for academic reasons last year. Another called strike 3 again on the curveball. The second one this inning, but KP, Tate Colwick did some damage.
Don't throw him a low fastball now. That's the one he likes. Fastball down in the zone. Colwick puts a charge into this one and knew it right away. That doesn't sneak out. You hit it over the top of the bleachers and left. You got it all. Vandy strikes first. It's 2-0.
Tate Colwick's home run, the difference so far. Vanderbilt has spotted Jack Leiter a 2-0 lead as we head to the third. Bottom of the order to up. Colin Burgess greeted with a first pitch fastball, 0-1 to the Gamecocks catcher. Tom Hart alongside Kyle Peterson. Jack Leiter struck out the side in the second. And he comes right back with an off-speed pitch in on Burgess. I was going to ask you about that changeup for Leiter. What have you seen as the velocity on it?
The 2-1 I think was 85, which is enough. I mean, we've seen the fastball up to 97, so you know it's a 7 to 12 mile an hour difference. You know, I think it's different for everybody, but ideally, if you could be 10, 12, I mean, more is not a bad thing either, but that's usually enough. That thing's sick. I mean, his ability to utilize the fastball so far, and I know there's only been 7 outs, but Corpse has talked about it, Scotty Brown's talked about it, just the understanding. And obviously, when you grow up in a family to where your dad pitched in the big leagues for 19 years, your understanding of just how to pitch is probably going to be advanced. But just to watch this kid go to work and his ability and understanding how to utilize different fastballs and when to try to get out of the zone like he did right there again.
Facing a veteran here in George Khalil, fifth-year senior from Melbourne, Australia, and he starts him off with the breaking ball. Khalil was on Australia's under-18 national team. Couldn't find 95.
If you're hitting right now, okay, so you're 1-2, the ability to sit on anything is gone because of what he's shown you so far. He can climb the ladder with a fastball if he wants to. That was probably a little bit further down than he wanted it ideally. Or I mean, the slider can come at absolutely any time. We really haven't seen the cutter yet, something that he started to work on and throw a little bit more this year. Use it more to left-handers, try to get in and off the barrel.
Whatever he's done against lefties, by the way, has worked. They're combined 2 for 31 against him. But then again, opponents as a whole hitting a .08 coming in, leading the SEC. The 2-2. Fouls off another. Great program matchup. These two own 4 of the last 10 national championships. A pair for each. And Vanderbilt, the reigning national champs. Breaking ball hit into left field, and that's where Cooper Davis stands. 2 down. So after leaning on the fastball, decides to go change up to Khalil, the 9-hole hitter. Is fits with the approach that you like from Leiter?
Yeah, and I like that he's going right on right. I mean, that time when you got to gear up for 94, 95, 96 and potentially come up in the zone, it's tough to hammer that one right there. It was a good change up down and out of the zone that Khalil was out in front of.
Here's Braylon Wimmer again, the leadoff hitter. Sophomore from Yukon, Oklahoma. His dad led the country in hits in 1991 playing at Wichita State and was on the 92 Olympic team. That was when baseball made its debut as a medal sport. They lost to the 1 seed Cuba, then Japan. Ron Frazier was the head coach. He had Nomar, Calvin Murray, Phil Nevin, Jason Varitek, Darren Dreifort. I mean, they were loaded. Before pros ended up in the Olympics, 2-1 now. Wimmer's 6'4", 200. Mark Kingston talking about his versatility, especially defensively. Said we could play this guy all over the place. At second base today, curveball missed inside.
Said the only place that we wouldn't think about is putting him behind the plate, but besides that, he can handle anything defensively on the diamond. We talk about the feet, and the foot speed is special. That should translate to the ability to steal more bags in his time at South Carolina as he stays.
Challenged him up and in. Another high fastball. It's strikeout number 7. Jack Leiter has it on cruise control for Vanderbilt, and the Doors sitting on a 2-0 lead in the bottom of the 3rd. Home half of the 3rd. Vanderbilt, second-ranked team in the country, looking to take the series against South Carolina, leading 2-0 here in the second game of the weekend. Busy night in the SEC last night. Alabama grabbed all the headlines. 16-1 over the #1 ranked team in the country.
Hit 4 home runs. 4 home runs for Alabama, 10-run second. They were off and running right there. Tennessee, Liam Spence hit the first pitch of the game out. The Vols have been really good so far. Ole Miss, Gunnar Hoagland at it again.
Here's Cooper Davis, 0 for 1. Struck out looking against Brannon Jordan in the first.
Beer showers were back last night in Oxford. Did you see them?
Yeah.
Yeah,
they have not wasted any time filling the ballpark.
Pinch hit home run in the 8th inning. Calvin Harris solo shot. That was it in that game, and they were ready and right.
How about that? Lone run of the game on a pinch hit home run. Strike 3 called. 4-pitch strikeout of Cooper Davis, who is 0 for 2.
Spotted up the fastball pretty well, and aside from the one swing, the home run that Colwick had to left field, Brannon Jordan's been fine. But we talked about it earlier. I mean, when you're facing Leiter, especially the way that he's looked so far today, that margin of error is just so limited because your offense just didn't gonna get too many cracks at it.
This is shortstop Carter Young, swing and a miss. Of all those scores, though, I got to slide out of the league for my walk-off of the day. East Carolina on a Seth Liddell walk-off. Charged the field. They have a unique tradition, KP, that you pointed out that has started. It's known as the birdhouse. It's a traffic cone. It's put on the top of a home run hitter's head. Or last night, the walk-off hero. So last night, pitcher Tyler Smith came charging out of the dugout after the walk-off with the cone on his head.
This will make your Saturday better if you go find this on Twitter, I promise you. And I challenge you to watch it less than 10 times in a row.
The ECU baseball Twitter account put it out last night. There's a couple different versions of it, but it is, yes, it is put it on repeat,
wonderful.
Laugh out loud funny. Young flew out to left field his first time up. Berkey and I had A&M in Florida a couple nights ago, and Berkey once again was on his high horse judging college players for only doing a helmet tap. And suffice to say, East Carolina has found a great celebration tradition.
Yeah.
Strike 3 looking, back-to-back Ks for Jordan.
That one can't go anywhere. That's 6 strikeouts now for Brannon Jordan. He's punched out 3 in a row. 5 of the 6 have been looking. This one on a fastball, maybe a little expanded zone on that side of it, but close enough that Colin Burgess could help him steal one.
Here's the 6'7" Spencer Jones. By the way, the robot umpire that they're going to put in low A ball this year would have a field day with Spencer Jones' strike zone. It will be set at 56% of a player's height, regardless of their crouch. That's going to be really interesting. The top of the zone, 56% of the height. The bottom of the zone, 28% of their height. 2-2. Would you want to see that technology come into college baseball if it were financially feasible?
The robo umpire?
Yeah.
I'd be fine with it. Yeah. I mean, if the intent is to always get it right. Now, the reality is, and the college zone is bigger, and the college zone should be a little bigger. These are major league arms. These are kids still trying to figure out how to do it. So I think, and usually it's bigger side to side, not as much up and down.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're going to do it, at some point I would adjust for that. I think you would find is if you went robo umpires at the collegiate level with the strike zone the way that it's dictated at the major league level, we'd see a lot more walks because the zone is just bigger. It is.
Tipped into the catcher's mitt, and Brannon Jordan strikes out this side, trying to keep up with the Joneses, or in this case, the Leiters.
7 punch outs in the game, 2 looking, and then this one elevates the fastball, gets Spencer's own swinging again, but Vanderbilt still up 2-0. 3 in the books in Nashville. Jack Leiter has been really good at throwing baseballs so far today. 7 strikeouts, all on the fastball, and maybe hasn't had that swing and miss slider that we've seen at times this year, but the ability to control up down with that fastball, and South Carolina just hasn't seen it. He has, I'd bet 70%, 65-70% fastballs today, and all 7 strikeouts on that pitch.
Leading off with Brady Allen here in the 4th. All 7 Ks on the fastball. You know, you can break down Jack Leiter's stats in a lot of different ways, and all of them point to a guy who's an elite college pitcher right now. So no matter what you settle on, they're all going to say the same thing. But so far this season, pitching with 2 outs, opponents are 1 for 23 against him. One for 23 with 2 outs. That's, phrase it any way you want. I think of, like, that's a closer to me, not a pitching closer, but that's a guy who closes the deal. Popped up. Rodriguez will toss the mask and make that catch in fair territory. 1 down. Does that number mean anything to you any more than any of his other ridiculous stats?
I think that, well, there's so many superlatives, right? I mean, that's what's challenging when you look at Leiter and Kumar is I mean, pick one. What do you want? He hadn't given up an extra base hit this year. Okay, that's really good. They're hitting 108 against him coming in. Yeah, that's pretty good. He throws 97 with a Snapdragon slider. That's pretty good. Like, it's just, where do you want to go? You can go any ramp you want to take. It's a pretty good ramp.
Josiah Seitler is 0 for 1 in this game, 1 for 5 this weekend with an extra base hit. And he looks at 92 on the black. A South Carolina program that got off to a remarkable start this season, 11-0. They had a game against Winthrop. First week of the season, they hit 7 home runs. That was the most in a decade for this program. Wimmer, Clark, and Mendham went back to back to back. It was the first time since they hit 5 straight home runs against Georgia in the 2006 Athens Super Regional. Remember that one? 5 straight home runs. Did you happen to be there for that one?
Yeah, I think I was.
I think.
Well,
I think it was a while ago.
I remember it happening. I mean, whether it's a figment or not, I'm not sure, but.
It was interesting talking to Mark Kingston about trying to figure out where this program is off of the weekend in Austin. And they get all the TrackMan data, both home, road, and they're going over the numbers after the Texas series. And everything points to they should have had more success, more hard hit balls, more barreled balls, however you want to break it down. If you look at expected batting average, the odds are they shouldn't have gotten swept, but they did. He said, you know, we thought we would have won a couple of those games based on a TrackMan. It's not like we were overmatched. But they start 11-0, and then they go to top 20 Texas before starting SEC play against Vandy and Florida. And I would think if you're making that schedule again, you might think twice about it as Seitler goes down looking. Strikeout number 8.
Yeah, you might. And then you get the Gators that come to town next weekend. So now 8 strikeouts all on the fastball on this one. And I like watching Rodriguez catch. I mean, it's quiet back there, which I always liked in a catcher. I didn't like a ton of movement. It's quiet. He knows when to try to steal one. He knows when not to try to bring it back. It gains you more, I would say, trust from a home plate umpire.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that as a catcher. I mean, we talk about all this stuff. Like, when you go back-to-back nights, you get to catch Kumar and this stuff. Like, that's kind of fun. It's not fun for your thumbs, but it's fun.
Kylie McDaniel has Leiter number 2 and Kumar number 3. SEC well represented.
South Carolina got to see Ty Madden last weekend, too, and he was great for Texas.
I love your point about C.J. Rodriguez. I mean, you'd have to go, I don't know, to Austin Barnes with the Dodgers to find somebody who gets to do this. We were talking to Mark Kingston. I said, what kind of 1-2 punch would you make the comp with Kumar and Leiter? And he's like, I don't know, Kershaw and Bauer? 2-1. Lone base runner for South Carolina was Braylon Wimmer. Drew a walk in the first to start this game. 2-2. Clark is no slouch, leads the nation in home runs, top 10 in the SEC in average, ribbies, runs, slugging, walks, on base percentage. Leading the league with an OPS of nearly 1,500. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Got him late on 97. It's his second time Leiter has dialed it up to strike out the nation's home run leader. 97 both times through 4 innings. Jack Leiter has struck out 9. He has not allowed a hit, and he's pitched around the lone base runner that has reached against him. Vandy leads 2-0. Tomorrow it's the second game of a 3-game series between Texas A&M and number 12 LSU here on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. First pitch swinging, and a nice play at second by Braylon Wimmer to retire Parker Nolan. Softball coverage starts at 6 Eastern, 5 Central. The series finale comes your way Monday night at 7 Eastern, 6 Central. A&M and LSU. C.J. Rodriguez coming to the plate, 0 for 1 with a strikeout looking. Struck out looking at Jordan's curveball in the second. Brannon Jordan's thrown pretty well in this game. Going to be tough to grab the first line of the game summary if Leiter keeps doing what he's doing.
Yeah, he's been great. What's he given up? 1 hit?
Yes, he's given up 1 hit.
I mean, he only hits it. Walked the leadoff man in the second. Colwick takes it over the top of the stands in left center field. That's the only hit of the game on either side.
He has struck out 7 and walked only 1. Out of Collinsville, Oklahoma, the 3-1 is pulled foul. 31st round pick at Tampa Bay in 2019. After his second season in community college ball in Arkansas City, Arkansas. Pitched in the Jayhawk JUCO All-Star game in 2018. Missed with the breaking ball, and Rodriguez becomes the 4th base runner. And Tate Colwick coming to the plate. It was Colwick's bomb that provided the cushion for Leiter. 3 home runs over the last 5 games for Colwick, who's got 5 long balls in his career. Swings at the first into center field. Allen, 2 down. Isaiah Thomas hit by a pitch his first time up. Took a breaking ball off of the tricep pad. Carries a 6-game hitting streak into today's action. And he rockets this one deep to left field. It's high off the fence, almost ended up in Corb's office. Seitler brings it back in, and Vandy's got 2 in scoring position with 2 down in the 4th.
All right, so this wall in left field probably gets you some home runs during the course of the season. It may have cost Thomas one right here because that ball was hammered. It just didn't get that high. Hits right near the top of that Extended fence in left field. Second hit of the game is a double for Isaiah Thomas here in the fourth.
So for those that are unaware, a little bit closer to left center field behind that screen is Tim Corbin's office, which overlooks the field. And if you got a peek into Tim Corbin's office today, on March 20th, you would see right next to the window a Christmas tree. It's March 20th.
However, it is now an Easter tree. It's a tree, yes, but the decorations have changed with the seasons.
Enrique Bradfield, count 2-0. I'd never heard of an Easter tree before, or a St. Patrick's Day tree, or a Thanksgiving tree. But he said, you know, we had the Christmas tree up, didn't go down for a while, and thought, why not spread some joy in a year that's been so tough? So Maggie said, well, let's just change up some of these decorations. I mean, you could put an ornament on that tree featuring every Vanderbilt big leaguer that played for Tim Corbin, and that tree would be overflowing.
Yeah, he'd break the tree. Skylar Meade, the pitching coach for South Carolina, out to talk right now. And some of this could just be a discussion of the last time up, Bradfield tried to take the bunt with him and did.
Am I the only one that sees that body type and that number and thinks Willie McGee?
Yeah, I can see that.
Hitting .366 against righties this season. Enrique Bradfield, for a lot of teams, would be in the one hole. He is 7 for 10 as a leadoff hitter this season.
His on-base percentage is right at 500. It's .492 coming into the game. He's walked more than he struck out this year.
2-2. Second in the country in stolen bases. You ask Corbs if Bradfield has the green light, if he ever gets the red light. I'd never heard it explained this way before. He turned to Tim Corbin recently and he said, how about you just tell me when you want me to get there? Meaning, do you want me to get to second on the first pitch? Do you want me to wait till the fourth pitch? Whenever you say, I'll get there. And he was right as he draws a walk here to load the bases all season long until last night when he was thrown out for the first time.
Yeah, that would be a pretty high level of confidence in your ability to steal a bat. Not whether or not you want me to run, but honestly, just tell me when you want me to be 90 feet away and I'll get you there. So that is a thought that never entered my mind. Ever.
They've had some good base runners in Vandy history as Jason Gonzalez steps up with the bases loaded. Charles DeFrance led on the SEC championship team in 1980, set the SEC stolen base record that season. 1-0 to Gonzalez. Bases juiced. Quick story on DeFrance. They're playing against an SEC East team, and he was the only African-American player in the East that time, and he was getting heckled pretty good when he reached first base. So he stole second and third on back-to-back pitches, and then he turned and bowed to the crowd.
Well done.
Ball and a strike. Opportunity for redemption this season for Gonzalez, who's averaged at .348 with 2 home runs after not playing last year. Chance to break this game open with the bases juiced. One and two. Beautiful breaking ball that time from Jordan. This is what he did against Belmont.
It's a grown man home run now. And Jason Gonzalez is just that. There is some raw power in that swing. We go about 2/3 of the way up the batter's eye.
Yeah.
That's your 9-hole hitter, folks. Most 9-hole hitters don't hit it 2/3 of the way up the batter's eye.
They estimated it at 445 feet. Chased the curveball to strike him out with the bases loaded. That was a big one for Brannon Jordan. Vanderbilt holds a 2-0 lead. Stick with us. More Jack Leiter after this as we head to the 5th. A couple different types of tailgating in the SEC. You can do it through the left field lounge back in the day, or you could just go to the top of the parking deck here in Nashville's West End, pop the tailgate, pop a couple other tops, and watch one of the top prospects in all of college baseball, Jack Leiter, do what he's doing. Beautiful sunny afternoon. Temperature get into about 60 degrees here before this game is done. Leiter's working on an Ernie Shore type game. First batter reached. He's retired everybody else since. Ernie Shore famously followed Babe Ruth after Babe walked the first batter, and then by some accounts punched the umpire. Regardless, Ruth was ejected. Ernie Shore followed, picked him off, and nobody else reached base.
That is one way to make a quick exit. That's generally frowned upon.
Brannon Jordan has struck out 10 through 4 innings. Excuse me, struck out 8 through 4 innings, and Leiter has 9 Ks. This is David Mendham, who's 0 for 1 with a strikeout. Went down looking in the second. All right, this is not a fair question, but I'm going to ask anyway. Go through Leiter's arsenal and rate his pitches for me. 1 through
today?
4. Sure.
Here's what I think is most impressive to me today. He's really had one pitch. It's been the fastball. I mean, he has leaned on the fastball so significantly that the slider hadn't really been there.
Colwick from the outfield cutout, 1 down.
And the slider is a plus slider. But today he just hasn't found the ability to really land it. He's finished guys with 1 pitch. I mean, all 9 strikeouts have been the fastball. That has been the difference maker. I like the changeup. The changeup has signs of really being a plus pitch for him. We really haven't seen a cutter very much. We've seen a curveball. Curveball is that breaking ball that'll come in 78, 79 miles an hour, but still hasn't consistently shown the ability to land that today. The fastball has just been that good. So he's doing this really without a breaking ball today.
Ball and a strike now to Eister, who this weekend 0 for 5 with 4 strikeouts combined.
That one was good.
It's just not fair for SEC teams to face Rocker then Leiter. Behind in the count. By the way, it also should be noted the draft this year is the first week of July. Of note, the first 5 teams to pick: Pirates, Rangers, Tigers, Red Sox, and Orioles. So there's a pretty good chance with the Tigers going 3rd. They already have Mize from a couple years ago out of Auburn, Faedo a couple years ago out of Florida. They could end up with an all-SEC rotation in a couple of years. Strike 3 called. Count him at the fastball.
I forgot the Red Sox picked that high. It's funny. I got a text from Alex Cora about 45 minutes ago. That's watching this one. I'm sure he's got a few things going on today, but the Red Sox sitting at 4. If either one of those guys can get to 4, you pull a hamstring, running to the phone, make the call. That would work out just fine.
Brennan Malone skies it to left. Cooper Davis barely has to move. It's another 1-2-3 frame. Jack Leiter hasn't allowed a hit through 5 innings of work against the 16th ranked team in the country. It's Vanderbilt 2, South Carolina nothing. Goose eggs for 16th ranked South Carolina. 2 runs on 2 hits for Vandy. As we move to the home half of the 5th, it'll be the top third of the order for the Doors. Davis, Young, and Jones. Just another day in a Vanderbilt baseball uniform for those guys. Cooper Davis is 0 for 2, couple of strikeouts. He wears that face mask on his helmet after what happened to him in the first game of the season. This is what went down.
I don't know if I've ever seen this, and I hope that we don't ever see it again. That's fouling a ball off your face.
Yeah, broke his nose against Wright State. First at bat of the season for the team. He was originally going to wear the cage for about a month or so. This 2 weeks into it now, after coming back again on March 5th. He said, you know, it took me a couple days of batting practice to get used to it. That one through the hole on the right side, and Cooper Davis has his first hit of the game.
That's an aggressive turn around first base. Everything out in front of Davis right there. You can see the play. As far as he went, I thought there was a chance if Eister came up, he's immediately going back to first base. They got a chance to backpick him right there. But leadoff single for Davis. First time, I guess first time since the second inning that Vandy's had the leadoff man on.
Carter Young 0 for 2, flat and a strikeout. That one almost got through the catcher, Burgess.
That one looked a little out. I thought it was the right decision to pull the bat back. Vandy's only sack bunted 4 times this year. Carter Young's done it once. Bradfield's done it twice.
Not a good day to be a hitter, huh?
Or, said a different way, it's a good day to be a pitcher. But if you see it, keep going there. I mean, the zone has been a little bit expanded on the outside part of the plate, particularly due to a left-hand hitter.
Strike 3 called, and Young down on strikes.
That's a really good job by Jordan throughout that entire at bat. And Colin Burgess and Skylar Meade, the pitching coach. You recognize this, okay? First of all, Young's not pulling the trigger on that pitch. But secondly, if you're getting a little bit extra, don't go anywhere. Just stay there, take advantage of it. He dots 2 more fastballs on that outside maybe extended outside part of the plate for another strikeout.
Spencer Jones 0 for 2, couple of strikeouts. Hey, you know, we were talking earlier about some of the great, as we're in opening weekend in SEC baseball, some of the other fantastic series going on this weekend. Did you see the picture on Twitter the other day? One of the Mississippi State beat writers put it out there.
Yeah.
I forgot who it was. Yeah,
it was LSU. It looked like he was 7 feet in the air jumping over second base. That one?
No, different one. But it was LSU, Mississippi State, and it was John Cohen at the plate and Mike Bianco behind the plate.
Really?
Yeah,
no,
and it was this incredible photo. He took it with just, you know, a regular photograph. You could see the dirt kicking off of Cohen's spikes. I think it was David Murray, but I'm not entirely sure. Just missed. Yeah, at Dogs Bite Mag, David Murray put it out there. It was fantastic. I mean, just incredible history, and we're reminded regularly in this conference, and with a great rivalry and series going on like State and LSU, another chance to revisit that. Breaking ball fouled into the dirt. Well hit, right field. Eister comes around for it, and that'll chase Davis back to the bag. 2 down. SEC Gymnastics Championship today right here on the SEC Network. Coverage of the first session begins at 3:30 Eastern. Kentucky, Missouri, and Auburn. Georgia Gym Dogs are out due to contact tracing. Then an 8 Eastern, 7 Central champion will be crowned in the second session. Florida, Bama, Arkansas, and LSU competing. You can always watch both sessions streaming live on the ESPN app from anywhere. Here's Parker Nolan. Walked and scored in the second on the home run from Tate Colwick. From an Admiral to Commodore, Nolan played his high school ball at Farragut High School outside of Knoxville. It's a pretty good pipeline to dig into.
5 innings to get that in.
Well, we have a pretty good game going, Kyle. I didn't want to distract anybody. 1 and 2.
Brannon Jordan's got a pretty good game going on, too. He's given up just the 2 hits. 2-run home run is a difference maker that he gave up back in the second, then a double in this inning. But if you're South Carolina, you got to be excited about what you've seen on the mound. You would think this is his last inning just because of pitch count. Clearly, though, he has given him a chance today. The guy on the other side has just been pretty darn good.
It's a new season high in pitches. Previously, he threw 93 against Mercer 2 games ago when he K'd a season high 11. One and 2. '97th pitch of the game from Jordan. Up. Yeah, if we didn't have what we have going on the other side, I would have told you about Yukon, Oklahoma, Braylon Wimmer's hometown, and the history with Grady the Cow. But we can wait. Curveball yanked to the right side. Flag down. Well Fantastic done. Play by Wimmer. The pride of Yukon, Oklahoma. Step aside, Garth Brooks and Grady the Cow. A run's a hit, one left. We go to the 6th. Jack Leiter aiming for history as he takes the mound for the 6th inning, having yet to allow a hit. The March Madness, Jack Leiter sporting the high tops on the mound for Vandy, trying to make some history. We haven't had a Vandy pitcher throw a no-hitter since Doug Wessel threw 2 in 1971. Got Louisville and Belmont that year. Meanwhile, the last SEC pitcher to spin a no-hitter pitched for Auburn in 2018. A guy by the name of Casey Mize did it against Northeastern. Here's Colin Burgess to lead off the 6th. He's 0 for 1 at the strikeout. You made the point, Kyle, at the very beginning that Jack Leiter hadn't pitched in an SEC game yet.
He appears to be comfortable.
He does.
I would love, this is really dorky, but I'm going to say it anyway, to see the pitching chart after this game and see how many breaking balls Leiter's thrown for a strike, either called or swung. Because it's really not many. And I think it's even more impressive that he's able to do this today with, I mean, maybe 1.5. Changeup he's been able to use a little bit, but it has been very fastball heavy.
I misspoke a moment ago. There was a no-hitter for Vanderbilt in the postseason a couple years ago. You may remember.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was a fairly important one.
Yeah. Anybody watching in Durham right now or Nashville saying, wait, we didn't get a hit against Kumar. Chopper up the middle. Leiter will gather. One down. So if the SEC media guide is accurate to that point, the last regular season no-hitter would have been 1971. I love, by the way, and we started talking about this on broadcast a couple nights ago as George Khalil stands in, how much traction college baseball now has on social media, right? Pitching Ninja is probably at the forefront of that. John Boy is breaking things down. He broke down Texas Tech's walk-off against UConn from last week.
The Cespedes boys are in on it this year.
Oh, 100%. And Rob Friedman, pitching Ninja, was talking to Kumar about that no-hitter and all the swings and misses on his slider from that game against Duke. And it's just fun hearing him recount that day. 2-1. (2016) I was at in College Station, Texas. Kyle Simons no-hit Vanderbilt. It's the last time it's happened in an SEC game. Strike called, low in the zone, 3-2.
I was watching that in my car on my phone, which is probably frowned upon as well. But
wait, while you were driving? I should have asked. Never mind. Continue.
Kind of. But I was listening more than watching.
Fair.
But I remember the Kyle Simons.
Bradfield will catch up to that one in the gap. Tim Corbin after that game was not happy with Vanderbilt and the early hacks that they took against Simons. That was Simons now on the coaching staff at A&M. But that was like that was almost a Maddox. I mean, that was like a 2-hour and 13-minute game. Top of the order now, and Braylon Wimmer. That pitch was not a strike in the first inning. One of the reasons Wimmer was able to draw a leadoff walk is the only base runner today for South Carolina. Yanked to the left side, handled by Gonzalez. No hits allowed through 6 innings for Jack Leiter. Infield pulling their weight in the 6th. We go to the home half with Vandy up 2-0. Vanderbilt leads South Carolina 2-0 as we go to the home half of the 6th inning. Brannon Jordan's day is done. Allowed only a couple of hits. He'll hand it off to Will Sanders. 10th appearance, 2-1 with the 2.53. 10 strikeouts and 10 2/3.
It's a kid they're pretty excited about now. 6'7" right-hander, freshman from Atlanta. Fastball can get into the mid-90s. Projects as somebody that you're going to see starting on the weekends at some point for South Carolina.
C.J. Rodriguez 0 for 1 with a strikeout. One-0 pitch. Yeah, just come out of the pen throwing easy cheese. 94.
Well, you know there's more in this arm. I mean, as he starts to grow into that body a little bit more, the velocity is going to keep ticking up because it is nice and easy coming out of his hands.
98
He
pitches.
was really good.
Yeah.
He was really good. 3 walks, 9 strikeouts. It's why the pitch count got elevated so much. But, I mean, any other day, you take that line and you're thrilled with it for South Carolina. But today it was just the one swing that was the difference.
Sanders on the mound now, 6'6", 208. Under Armour All-American coming out of Woodward Academy in Atlanta. Leadoff walk, and that'll bring Colwick to the plate. It's interesting now you look at the South Carolina roster and where it is at this point versus where it was. And I think it's safe to say a lot of the top-end talent down near the freshman class. College recruiting is at such a point now where if you take over a program that has slipped, there's no easy fix because you got kids committing in 8th and 9th grade. Pulled to the left side, handled by Malone, and nearly doubled up Rodriguez.
I think they did.
They did double him up.
You don't see that one very often. Line drive to the left side of the field and arm strength to get it across the diamond. Watch this. Didn't even blink. Brennan Malone immediately after he gloves it, looks across the diamond, throws a strike to Mendham. Stretch, and it looked like they just did get Rodriguez diving back in.
Here's Isaiah Thomas, who has doubled. It's interesting, though, it can take a while to rebuild a roster because so many guys are signed via projection. Through the hole on the left side, second hit for Thomas. Is that good for the sport?
I don't think it is. No, I mean, I think that a process that right now has, I mean, 8th and 9th grade kids committing to where they're going to go to college, for me, is pretty flawed. Because, I mean, as a dad, there's no way that my kid was ready to know where he didn't even know where he was going to go to high school when he was in 8th grade, let alone make a decision as to where you're going to go to college. I think it's unfair to kids, honestly. I wish that we could have some type of a program that at least lets them grow up a little bit more before you feel like you're pressured to make a decision like that.
Transfer portal is going to be wide open going forward. Adding to more movement once you arrive on campus. which is not uncommon in college baseball. Years ago, that was basically the landscape.
Yeah, that's the way it was. You didn't have to sit.
Two and one to Bradfield. No roster limitations this year. Muscled into left field. Thomas headed to third. Following him is Bradfield at second. And Vandy in business with two down here in the sixth.
Really intrigued by Enrique Bradfield. This is the first time I've really got to see him play the game. You talked about it earlier. I mean, he profiles and really looks like a leadoff hitter. He's very selective. He was in that at bat. That time chokes up on it, takes a fastball out away from him, flips it out to left center field. Looks to be an elite defender out in center field. We've talked about the speed and the ability to steal bases, but that is a pretty complete freshman right there. Power's not there, but everything else is exactly what you would want to see from a young kid.
You must be pretty good if you can step into Vandy's program and start as a true freshman. Or even if it's your second year in the program, given last year was a wash.
Well, and I'll tell you the other thing with that is the freedom, and credit to the Vanderbilt coaching staff of doing this, but the comfort level in him as a base stealer to give him a lot of freedoms when he's on the base pass. Usually that's something that's earned over a few years when you get into college, and it's taken Bradfield 16 games.
Skylar Meade back out. He's got Jason Gonzalez coming to the plate, who struck out with the bases loaded in the fourth. Daniel Lloyd is now getting loose for South Carolina. And that'll be it for Sanders. Allowed back-to-back hits after the leadoff walk to Rodriguez. So Daniel Lloyd will be the second reliever this inning for South Carolina, trying to keep it a 2-run deficit. How about a couple of series finales next Sunday starting noon Eastern? Florida and South Carolina from Soda City, and then Arkansas and Mississippi State from Starkville, 3 o'clock Eastern. Kippy, we don't get to go to games this year like we have in years past, but I feel like if we do a game from the new dude, we could wear pajamas again.
Yeah. I mean, you didn't really have to work hard to convince me the first time. It's not gonna change. I'm all in. Daniel Lloyd, a right-hander, now on for South Carolina, former position player. And they like him in some different versatile roles out of this pitching staff. It sounds like a broken record, but can be a mid-90s fastball. And it feels like with these power programs right now, we say that about everybody that rolls out of the pen. That's the one thing to me that the eye test has changed with South Carolina this year. They have a lot of real power arms. This is one of them.
Gonzalez swings at the first and fouls it off. Struck out with the bases loaded in the fourth. He's 0 for 2 today. Gobbled up by Khalil. And nothing will cross for Vandy in the sixth despite getting a couple on. Jack Leiter coming to the mound in the seventh, has yet to allow a hit. 2-0 Vanderbilt. We move to the top of the 7th inning in Nashville. Vanderbilt leading South Carolina 2-0. Tom Hart with Kyle Peterson. It's SEC opening weekend, and we're getting a doozy. Jack Leiter walked the first batter he faced today. Since then, he has retired 18 straight. The 6th was his first inning without a strikeout. Sitting on 90 pitches. KP, how deep can he go?
I would say this will be his last. I mean, he's already pitched deeper into a game than he has in his college career. Nearing 100 pitches, I'd be surprised, regardless of what happens in this inning, if he comes back out for the 8th.
In for a strike to Brady Allen. And this ball is lifted to left field. Another opportunity for Cooper Davis. Here's Josiah Seitler.
It's early third time around the order right here, but the first two for the Gamecocks third time around, both taking really good swings. Wimmer hit a missile to third. That ball was hit well to left. Both line drive outs.
Leiter threw 96 pitches last time out against Oklahoma State. Allowed 2 hits in that game. The outing spanned 5 innings. Back to 92, 1-1.
You know what he's had the ability to do, we saw it against Clark earlier, is add velocity and subtract velocity with that fastball. The fastball's been as low as 90 today. It's been as high as 97. But when he's needed a little bit more, there's the ability to go back into the tank and add a little bit late in the count.
Curious to see if that's still there nearing 100 pitches. He shakes Rodriguez. Now they agree. The 1-2. Swing and a miss on 95. Question answered.
Well, there you go, Hart. He does still have the ability to do it. This one down in the zone, but 95. That is 21 swing and misses today for Jack Leiter. And every strikeout has been on that pitch right there. Every one has been on the fastball.
So here's another matchup with Wes Clark, who leads the country in home runs. Clark struck out on a 97-mile-an-hour fastball in the first inning with a runner on. He struck out a 97 in the 4th. And he's greeted with a fastball here to start his at-bat in the 7th. Nothing in 2. 96. Earlier this season against Winthrop, Clark had a 3-home run game. It was the first for a Gamecock since big leaguer Justin Smoke did it in 2008. He homered twice in a game against Clemson in late February. 100th pitch of the game in 0-2. Swing and a miss on 97. Jack Leiter has stuck out 12 through 7 innings. He is not allowed a hit. What a day at the office.
Stretch time in Nashville, and that kid set down 21 in a row. 12 strikeouts for Jack Leiter today. It's 2-0 Vanderbilt.
2-0 Vanderbilt leads as we go to the home half of the 7th. Reports from the ballpark. Jack Leiter's got his jacket on, which would suggest he'd come back out for the 8th. Cooper Davis at the plate, 1 for 3. Would you be surprised if we saw Leiter in the 8th?
Not based on what we saw after he went off in the 7th. I mean, I said, so I can't take it back now, that I would be shocked if we saw him out there in the 8th during the 7th just because of pitch count. But
100 pitches total.
100 pitches total, and the last pitch was 96. He's still feeling okay.
Kumar Rocker was slated to come out of the game after 7 last night. Pleaded his case to Scott Brown. Said, no, I'm going back in there. And came back out for the 8th. That was a 3-2 Vandy win, game 1 of the series. Doors lead 2-0 here in the bottom of the 7th. Fooled on the fastball. One down for Carter Young. There's going to be some weekends this season for Vanderbilt where one guy throws a gem and the other guy outdoes him one way or another. Bauer and Cole with UCLA 10 years ago. Is that the best comp?
It is for me. Yeah. I mean, especially when you see what those guys have done at the major league level.
Carter Young is 0 for 3 in this one.
It's always interesting when you talk with Tim Corbin and ask him about certain guys. Rarely is the first thing that he says related to athletics. It's generally something about the way that they approach the game or they approach practice or training, as he calls it often. It's the same thing with Jack Leiter when you ask him. And he said it last year, just about how mature he is in the way that he goes about his business. And I think you could see it even without knowing the kid. If you've never watched him before, if you just watch him pitch, there is a level of deliberate out there that you don't see out of a lot of 20-year-olds.
Mm-hmm. One out walk puts Young aboard. It's interesting given Leiter's background. So, when I was first playing ball, I was the little kid out there just rotating amongst a bunch of different positions. And before the growth spurt in high school, despite the lineage, there wasn't a whole lot of attention. Here's Spencer Jones, who's 0 for 3. He's got an artistic side to him. Bunch of sketchbooks in his room back home. Took a form and sculpture class in high school. Imagine he turns to his mom, Lori, and says, you know, Mom, I think I might want to be an artist. She says, yeah, but you throw 97. Coincidentally enough, Kumar on that podcast with Pitching Ninja said some of the same stuff. He's like, you know, my parents gave me the freedom to explore what I wanted to be and what I wanted to do. It just became evident that I was really good at this.
It's pretty darn good advice for any parents out there. Your kids growing up athletically is let them play as many as they possibly can. Let them, over the course of time, learn which one that they do ultimately have a passion for. And I think you do see it a lot more often, quite honestly. kids of parents that played athletics at a higher level, because you know how hard it is. It's hard. I mean, I don't care if you throw 96. It's still hard to go out there and get guys out consistently.
Balk, and that'll put Carter Young at second base.
Now, where do you get him here? No. No. Sorry. We can hear a little bit of Mark Kingston right here, and I don't blame him. That, you got to show me something that's blatant, and that's not even close to blatant. Did he not gain ground? I mean, is that potentially what it was right there? But that I didn't see it, and this may get Mark a quicker trip to the bus than he was thinking.
It's not just that they called it that has Mark upset. It's also when they called it, this point in the game. One 0 to Jones. Missed away. 2 balls and no strikes. Was there any element of that that could have been interpreted as a balk?
I think it's not getting closer to first base, and by the letter of the rule, it's, I mean, gain ground is what they always used to say, but that's the only thing that I saw that you potentially could have called there. You just don't see it called. I don't remember the last time that I saw that called. Every once in a while, you'll balk a right-handed pitcher for breaking their front knee and then ultimately coming over to first base on a pick to where it looks like you're going to home plate. I don't remember the last time I saw that.
That'll end up out of play. Don't think they're going to try to run on Burgess, but Young is perfect on the season, 3 for 3. Jammed him, and that'll end up in Khalil's glove. 2 down.
Now, Spencer Jones doesn't have a lot of ABs this year, and I think he's still kind of getting his footing at the plate. But I've been really impressed with the way that South Carolina's approached him today. It's been really fastball heavy, and they've had the ability, intentionally it looks, to elevate that fastball, and he just has not found the ability to handle that pitch yet.
Here's Parker Nolan, 31st round pick of the Marlins, coming out of Farragut High School in Knoxville. Second among Vandy freshmen last year with 15 hits. Lloyd misses low, 1-0. A walk and a couple of groundouts to second for Parker Nolan in this one. 0 for 6 in the series. Lloyd's 3-0 pitch. Right down Broadway, 3-1.
pretty easy 95.
Yeah.
Short, not a lot of arm swing, and here's 95 for you.
Full count now. Lloyd out of Somerville High School in Somerville, South Carolina. 6'3", 232. A starter as a freshman a couple of years ago when he first got to campus. Here's the payoff. Swing and a miss at 92. Runners stranded in the 7th. It's a 2-0 lead as we go to the 8th. Jack Leiter will pull the cap on and get back to work. He's got a no-hitter through 7. Jack Leiter has thrown 100 pitches in this game. He has struck out 12. He has retired 21 straight after a leadoff walk to Braylon Wimmer in the 1st. He has tied his career high in strikeouts. This is the deepest he's gone into a college game, and he'll go back to work in the 8th, trying to preserve a no-hitter. David Mendham, Andrew Eister, and Brennan Malone due up for South Carolina. The 5, 6, and 7 spots in the Gamecocks batting order. Gamecocks as a team are trying to snap a 5-game losing streak, but that followed an 11-0 start to the season. First pitch 91 and a strike to Mendham. Mendham fouls one off. A junior from Canada by way of Connors State Community College is down in the count, 0-2. Was a second-team JUCO All-American at Connors State. The 0-2. Missed with the breaking ball inside.
Missed, but that was one of his better breaking balls of the day. Now he's trying to throw it outside part of the plate, and this one tugs a little bit more to the inside part, but the break was tighter than we've seen. Now see if he goes back, tries to elevate the fastball again.
Strike recalled. Strikeout number 13.
This one's been called a strike the entire day, and we can debate whether or not you think it is, but the reality is it's been consistently called a strike the entire day, and Jack Leiter just taking advantage of that situation. Tried the 0-2 breaking ball, then comes back and pumps another fastball in there. 13 strikeouts, all on the fastball.
This is Andrew Eister, fooled on a first pitch curveball. Eister is 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts in this game. He has struck out 5 times in 2 games against Rocker and Leiter combined over the last 18 hours or so. The 1-1. Chopper left side. This is Young. Got him. 2 down. Leiter has been his most efficient late in this game. A 10-pitch 5th, a 14-pitch 6th, then a 10-pitch 7th.
He's also finally starting to find his breaking ball. The best breaking balls of the game have come in this inning.
Greets Brennan Malone, 0-1. The 1-1 pitch to Malone. Strike called at 93. Jack Leiter has retired 23 in a row. .96 on his 111th pitch. Last time Vandy threw a no-hitter. A dominating performance by teammate Kumar Rocker. 131 pitches against Duke. Swing and a miss. Strikeout number 14. No hits through 8 for Leiter. Might need help from the pen to finish this one off. 2-0 Vandy, middle of the 8th. 2-0, bottom of the 8th inning. South Carolina has gone back to its bullpen. Parker Coyne is the new pitcher for South Carolina. Gamecocks have yet to collect a hit against Jack Leiter. 4th appearance of the season for Coyne. He's only thrown 3 innings. The story of the day is a performance by Jack Leiter.
Well, I wasn't sure that we'd see him back out there for the 8th. And he looked as strong in the 8th as he did in the 1st or the 2nd or the 3rd or pick any inning all the way throughout this entire ball game. And when you're sitting on a bench in the 9th inning or 8th inning in this case and nobody's talking to you, there's only one reason. It's because there's a 0 on the scoreboard somewhere. And it is the most wonderfully lonely place to be if you're Jack Leiter right now.
He'll stay hydrated. Of note, South Carolina hasn't been held hitless in a game in over 3 decades. Go back to February of 1990 when Brad Myers of Northwestern no-hit the Gamecocks. First pitch, hammered down the third base line. A base hit for C.J. Rodriguez. Rodriguez heads to second. He'll get in there standing up. Leadoff double to greet Parker Coyne.
This kid's impressed me today. I mean, first and foremost, back behind the plate, but he's been patient, walked his previous 2 times at the plate. Now this time gets an elevated fastball and just hooks it down the left field line. On base 3 of 4 times today for Rodriguez. And for as good as Leiter has been, still only 2-0.
Yeah.
And if you're Tim Corbin at this point, like that 3rd run feels like about 10 right now, if you can figure out some way to just get another one.
Tate Kolwick gave them their 2 with a 2-run home run in the 2nd. 3 extra base hits for Vandy today. Pardon me, 4. 3 doubles in that home run. Stroke deep left center field. Allen back. Seitler there. It's into the bleachers in a 2-run shot for Kolwick. Sun's out, guns out. Second home run of the day. He's got 5 on the season. If Leiter needed any breathing room, there it is.
Well, we talk about getting a 3rd run. Here's an easy way to get the 3rd and 4th run. That's 2 2-run home runs today for Kolwick on different pitches. First was a low fastball. This one a breaking ball. Both were no doubters. Like a lot of things about that swing, it's simple, jumps off the bat. He's been the offense today, and so far, Kolwick's offense has been enough. 4 home runs in the last 5 games for the junior second baseman.
Here's Isaiah Thomas. What do you think Jack Leiter thought of that one?
Okay, this is going to sound stupid. In spots like this where you're getting to the end of a game and you know you're still in the game, I just like you want to get back out there as soon as you possibly can. You want the runs, don't get me wrong. But now there's a part of you that's like, okay, like hit 3 straight line drives at somebody and let me go back to work.
That makes perfect sense. It's a lonely corner. That one's going to find the seats. Hey, SEC Now coming your way late tonight. We'll do it at about 12:30 in the morning. They might be talking some Jack Leiter. Take over the March Madness talk. And for good reason. Highlights analysis from the men's and women's tourney games, SEC Gymnastics Championship, which follows us here. And baseball and softball highlights. High fly to left. Seitler try to play it off the fence. He could have caught that one. Takes a funky carom off that concave wall. Looking for three is Thomas. He is there head first. Third hit of the game for Isaiah Thomas.
A single, a double, now a triple for Thomas. And yeah, Seitler maybe could have made this play. This is where this ballpark, and there's the quirkiness of it will get you off the wall. But that wall starts to bend when you get out there. So it's not going to bounce straight back to you like it normally would. Instead, it goes more towards center field. Thomas saw it the entire time. The entire play in front of him, he saw that ball get far enough away. And he's now standing at third base with nobody out.
Enrique Bradfield doubled his last time up. Parker Coyne is the third reliever used by South Carolina today. Senior from Suwanee, Georgia, at North Gwinnett High School. Couple of starts last year in 5 games. But he's pitched primarily out of the bullpen in his South Carolina career. Dealing with Thomas at third. Still nobody out here in the 8th. 1-2 to Bradfield. Again, opposite field. This time it'll find Seitler. Thomas will tag, and he'll come home with the 5th run of the game for Vandy.
Bradfield has had 4 very good at-bats today. First time up, drag bunt, tried to take it with him. They threw him out by a step. Then he works a walk, doubles his 3rd time up, and this time gets one elevated enough to drive in the run from third base with a fly ball to left.
Nine-hole hitter Jason Gonzalez. KP, does the longer this inning goes increase or decrease the likelihood that Leiter would finish this game?
I think it would have to go crazy long. I mean, I think it'd have to be a 7, 8, 9, 10 run inning before you'd look at it. At this point, it clearly appears that he's coming back.
Breaking ball outside. The Vanderbilt home bullpen is tucked in the corner right there behind the left field wall, and they're all just watching right now.
Yep. And you could see some action because if Leiter comes back out and gives up a hit, then you go get him right away. I think you'll see action when he comes back out. But for now, they're just watching, just like he is.
Gonzalez on a drop third strike will try to run it out. 2 down. Peeking ahead to the South Carolina half of the ninth. It'll be the 8, 9, and 1 spots due up. Burgess, Khalil, and then Wimmer. And Wimmer remains the only Gamecock to have reached base against Jack Leiter in this game. That was a leadoff walk 2 hours and 21 minutes ago.
Khalil's the only guy in the lineup that hasn't struck out. Leiter struck out 8 of the 9 starters for South Carolina.
The 1-2 pitch. Rocker's no-hitter against Duke. All those strikeouts came on his slider. Leiter's leaned on his fastball. The 1-2 again. That'll close the Vandy 8th. We go to the 9th. Jack Leiter hasn't allowed a hit through 8. He is retired 24 straight. He'll be back on the mound for the 9th at Hawkins Field in Nashville. It's a 5-0 Vanderbilt lead, but more importantly, through 8 innings, Jack Leiter has allowed just 1 base runner. It was a leadoff walk to Braylon Wimmer to start the game. 24 consecutive Gamecocks retired. Colin Burgess will lead off the 9th. 113th pitch. It's a strike. Burgess 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a ground out. Fastball fouled off, 0-2. Oh, 2 to Burgess. Laid off the breaking ball. Last night, Kumar Rocker was sensational for Vanderbilt in an intense game, a back-and-forth affair that Vandy took the lead in the 7th in. Jack Leiter's one-upped him. The intensity in last night's game was there almost from the get-go. It has built throughout this game as Leiter established his dominance early on. He struck out the side in the 2nd, and he just got better from then on. The 1-2.
Good battle right here from Burgess. He fouled off a breaking ball. It looked like it was going to be one that finished him. Then that time takes a fastball up and spoils another good one.
2-2. Fastball inside. It's the deepest Leiter has gone in a college game. Next pitch will be his 120th. The payoff. Strike 3 called. Strikeout number 15.
He's lived with this one the entire day. 94-mile-an-hour fastball right at the bottom of the zone. That one did look like a strike to me. The last one was definitely inside. That time, fastball for strikeout number 15 in the first out here in the ninth.
Swing and a drive right field. Thomas came in. Now he drifts back. 2 down. Kumar Rocker, the last Vandy pitcher to do it, did it against Duke a couple years ago on the way to a national championship. Now 2 out in the ninth for Jack Leiter, and the only batter to have reached base against him in this game, Braylon Wimmer, the Gamecocks' last chance. First pitch heater, 0-1. Nothing in 2. Jack Leiter's moment is here and now. A Vanderbilt no-hitter. Careful ripping that jersey off. They might want to hang it up before his time in the West End is done. "16 strikeouts in a 9-inning no-hitter for Jack Leiter."
8th career start in college baseball. First career start in the SEC. And he just punched out 16 and threw a no-hitter against a very good offense. Neat moment right there. Scott Brown, the pitching coach, to come out. And there's, you know, we're fortunate to do what we do. And there's certain days that you just remember a little bit more than others. This is one of them. It will be one of them. And I can only imagine what's going through that kid's mind right now. But in a day that really, he lived on his fastball the entire day, found the breaking ball a little bit later on. But that was fun to watch, and that was some kind of impressive. That right arm special.
He faced 28 batters. He retired 27 of them. He retired the final 27 he faced. It's the first SEC no-hitter since Casey Mize did it for Auburn a couple of years ago. It's the first in an SEC game since Kyle Simons did it to Vanderbilt. And it's the first for a Commodore pitcher since Kumar Rocker against Duke in the Super Regional.
16th and final strikeout, and it was a 96-mile-an-hour fastball. Love that reaction, because that's a guy that knows what it feels like. Rocker's one of the first ones out of the dugout right there, and watch this emotion. That was cool. Tommy, he had never pitched past the 5th inning of the college baseball game. He threw 96 in the 9th.
It's the first time South Carolina has been no hit since 1990. The most impressive part of this performance today by Jack Leiter is what?
Wow. I think that he did it primarily with a fastball. And I think it speaks to why that pitch for him is so good. I mean, he's going to have days to where he's got 3 of them going. Today really wasn't that day until later on. I mean, it was fastball, fastball, fastball when he needed to make a pitch for the first 6 innings of this game. The last few innings, the breaking ball started coming around, and the last pitch of the game showed you that he still had plenty in the tank.
It's a 5-0 final. Vanderbilt takes the series. They've won the first 2, started by Rocker and Leiter, and they've done it in dominating fashion. Tim Corbin talking to his team in the Vanderbilt dugout, as is custom. When we return, we'll have Jack Leiter on a headset and talk to him about his historic performance. He retires the final 27 batters faced, and he turns in a Vanderbilt no-hitter. Jack Leiter's right arm, the story of the day. Vanderbilt blanks South Carolina, and the Vanderbilt, I can't call him the ace. He's one of 2 aces for this Vanderbilt team. Turns in a no-hitter, the first since his teammate Kamal Rocker did it to Duke a couple years ago on the way to the College World Series and a national championship. Tom Hart with Kyle Peterson. It is a performance unlike we've seen, maybe going back to Rocker's performance against Duke.
I think that's fair. I think that's fair. And what's crazy is Rocker was just about as good last night. Kumar strikes out 14 last night, and tonight Jack Leiter comes out. How about this on the season? I just looked. On the season, Kumar Rocker 48 strikeouts, now Leiter 49. You want to talk about the healthiest form of competition. Is these 2 guys going game 1, game 2 on the weekend, because they each make the other one better. And today was fun to watch Kumar's reaction as he was watching the end of that game.
All right, we got Jack mic'd up on the field in Nashville. Jack, can you hear us okay? All right, we got to get your mic turned on. You can hear us, but we couldn't hear you just then. We'll try it again. Jack, I guess I'm most curious. We'll give you a 1, 2, 3. How about a 1, 2, 3? We'll give you a 1, 2, 3. How about a 1, 2, 3?
Hello. Can you hear
There
me?
we go. Hey,
You got me?
listen, if this is the only thing that goes wrong for you today, can you hear us?
Yes, sir.
It's a pretty good day if this is the only thing that goes wrong. We're going to talk about your game, obviously. But what I'm most curious about is, what did Tim Corbin say to you and to the team right after the game?
I mean, he said it was a special one, and a special one for all of us, which it really was. To experience this with my teammates as a lot of our first SEC weekends of our careers here. It's really special. It's special for everybody, and it's very exciting.
When
Jack,
did you feel that this was special?
What?
What's that?
When did you feel that this was going to be a special day on the mound?
When did you start to understand that it was going to be a little different?
I mean, I don't know, honestly, to tell you the truth. It felt good in the bullpen. It felt pretty good in the first inning, but I mean, walking the first guy, obviously not what you want to do. And I would say, honestly, not really until the 6th, 7th inning, it felt like it was a little bit different than other games.
Well, it looked different. Honestly, it looked different from the beginning. So during that, let me go after the 7th, after the 8th. Does Brownie say anything? Does Corb say anything? And when you get into the dugout, what's going through your mind?
No, they don't say anything. It's kind of an unspoken thing. I do the same thing as every inning and sit down quietly, kind of gather my thoughts. And at that time, my thoughts, they can creep at times, but I really do try to just say next pitch, focus on the next pitch. And I mean, any other bigger things that you can control, like a whole game's outcome, you can't really do that in one pitch. So kind of staying in the moment.
Okay, so Jack, I want to just dive into pitching dork stuff here, because here's what I saw, but I'm interested as to what you felt when you were out there. It looked like for the first 6 innings you had a fastball, and you were fighting to try to find a breaking ball that you could throw consistently, change up a little bit, but it was fastball heavy the entire game. And you found a breaking ball a little bit later, and I think it allowed you to expand a little bit. But on the mound, how did you think your way through this one, stuff-wise?
Yeah, that's why, to be honest with you, it didn't feel different until that 6th, 7th inning. I mean, obviously the results were there in terms of the hitters, but but I was kind of grinding through the at-bats a little bit. I mean, I didn't have any, like you said, I didn't have either of my breaking balls. And, I threw a couple change-ups and felt decent about it. But I was a one-pitch pitcher for a while there and kind of just hoping to find it. And I felt like I really did and got comfortable with my slider and even my curveball at the end. But yeah, definitely fastball dominant today.
We were talking, I don't know if you heard us, but I think you had the headset on. But watching Kumar at the end of this one, who knows what it feels like to be in a position like that, we got a chance to close out a no-hitter. It's your first SEC game that you've ever pitched in. What is that relationship like between you and he, and how do you benefit each other?
I think it's amazing. It's so special to have. I mean, honestly, our whole pitching staff, but particularly Kumar. It's a really special pitcher and a special individual. The way he goes about his business and kind of just how he carries himself in the locker room. It's something to model yourself after, and it was really good for me to see that last year coming in as a freshman, kind of how things are done, because obviously he had done it the year before, and every time he pitches, it's exciting. It's kind of drop everything and watch him. So I'm just glad I'm on the same team as him, honestly.
Well, I think he'd probably say the same thing. So I think that probably works both ways. We were, maybe laughing a little bit. This was your 8th collegiate start. And obviously, you come in, everybody knows the name because of what you had accomplished in high school, and then it's you and Kumar right away, but it's still only your 8th start. So if I were to look at you, or you were to look at you, where do you think you have the opportunity to grow the most from a pitching standpoint?
I think definitely command. I think everybody's working command, even big leaguers. I'm sure DeGrom throws a couple bad pitches that he's not happy about, and he looks back at after the game a little bit. I would say command is something I'm always going to be working on, and then, again, my secondary pitches, there's days where I really do feel confident in them, and then a day like today for the first 5 or 6 innings where kind of just trying to find them. So kind of coming out the gate of every game with a better feel for all my pitches, I would say.
Kyle mentioned the fact that you hadn't gone this deep in a game, and it was your first SEC game. Was there any politicking on your behalf, either after the 7th or after the 8th, to go back out there again?
None. Again, it was, I think, an unspoken thing. I don't know the thought process on the coaching side. If maybe I gave up a hit, if they would have pulled me in that 8th or 9th, but I was ready to go, and that's what I wanted to do. So I think that was it didn't need to be communicated.
Jack, you've been more than gracious with your time. I'm sure you want to get ice and get some treatment. Thanks so much. Congratulations on the no-hitter today.
Thank you so much.
Fun to watch that one, man.
Jack Leiter matching Kumar Rocker's no-hitter from the NCAA tournament a couple of years ago. KP, you brought this up earlier. If you're an SEC opponent, or it doesn't matter, you go into a regional or a super regional, and you've got to face that guy game 2, and the other guy game 1, it's an incredible advantage for the Commodores. This is what these two guys have done.
We showed
this
Cole
weekend, a combined 30 strikeouts and 3 walks.
I just don't know if there's been a 1-2 punch like this in college baseball. And I know he's only made 8 college starts. I get it, but this is not blowing things out of proportion. This is how good they are and how good they have been. Those two have combined to make 10 starts this year. They're 10-0 combined. Not the team. They're 10-0 combined. And again, there's a lot of things you can look at this game that are incredibly impressive from Jack's standpoint. I think the thing that impressed me the most is he did it with 1 pitch for 6 innings. And he dominated a very good offense. He found the other ones later. I think it allowed him to get to the finish line of this one. But, man, that fastball was something different today.
Back once again on what Jack Leiter was able to accomplish today. He walked the first batter he faced, and then he went to work.
Yeah, okay, so we start with a leadoff walk. And then he sets down the next 27 guys. And again, when you look at these strikeouts, look at the pitch. It's a fastball. And it is a fastball the entire game, and it was a fastball. And I meant to ask him this question. I didn't when we had him, but another thing that I thought was just from a maturity standpoint on the mound that showed me a lot about him is he could tick it up when he needed to. I mean, we saw it happen against Wes Clark. He threw 97, 2 or 3 times today? it was against one of the best hitters in the country. When he needed a little bit more, there was a little bit more, and there was still plenty there at the end. The last pitch of the game was 96.
Speaking of going against the best, Wes Clark leads the country in home runs. He struck out Wes Clark to end the inning 3 times in this game. 124 pitches, 9 innings, no hits, 1 walk, and 16 strikeouts. And oh, by the way, Vanderbilt wins the series. I started the game by talking about the fact that if you've got to face Rocker one night, Leiter the next, there are going to be some hurt feelings in the SEC this year.
I think that's a nice way to say it. Yes, there are. And this is not indicative. South Carolina has a very good offense, folks. And I'm telling you, you're going to see that throughout the course of the year. They just faced the 2 best arms in the country the last 2 days. And what happened the last 2 days, not necessarily no hitter. But a combined, what do we got, 17, 33 strikeouts the last 2 games for Vanderbilt arms. It is different.
They're still on the roof. They're still checking this one out. It was a brisk one worked by Leiter as he didn't allow a hit to South Carolina. And you know what's great about this? With the attention that is on college baseball now, Rocker leading the way, Leiter now will step even further into the spotlight. And there's going to be more and more discussion and promotion of this great game of college baseball.
Yeah, man, it is. It's thankfully we have the game back. And listen, it would have been a lot more fun sitting inside the ballpark today, that's for sure. But thankfully we have the game back, and we get a chance both on this staff and there's plenty of other stories across the country. But you're seeing 2 kids, Rocker yesterday, Leiter today, that barring injury are going to pitch for a long time in this game. And it's fun just to sit back and watch, I'll tell you that.
Vandy boys come out on top, and the top 2 Vandy boys look to be among the nation's best, and they certainly look that way towards the folks at the next level as well. 5-0, the final SEC Gymnastics Championships coming up next. For Kyle Peterson, our sensational broadcast crew back in Nashville, I'm Tom Hart. Stay tuned for the SEC Women's Gymnastics Championship. A no-hitter for Vanderbilt, and for Jack Leiter, he allows just 1 base runner, and he retires the final 27 batters he faced. Great day to be a Vandy boy. Great day to be a Leiter. Vanderbilt 5, South Carolina 0. Have a fantastic weekend, everybody.